Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. Presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo said he's excited to debate with human rights lawyer Amal Clooney and is welcome to defend Rappler chief Maria Ressa. The lower tariff collection from rice imports, which in turn may have caused the government billions in foregone revenue, may have been caused by the undervaluing of such by importers and traders, according to the Federation of Free Farmers Incorporated, or FFF. The Philippine peso stayed firm against the U.S. dollar Tuesday, but the Philippine Stock Exchange Index fell for the second consecutive day ahead of Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell's congressional hearing. Presidential spokesman Salvador Panelo said he's excited to debate with human rights lawyer Amal Clooney and is welcome to defend Rappler chief Maria Ressa. However, he also has doubts that she may have been deceived into joining her legal team. Clooney and Fion Gallagher, who both specialize in international law and human rights, will lead the team that will be working with lawyers in the United States and in Manila. Mr. Panelo also said attorneys Clooney and Gallagher can coordinate with Filipino lawyers but cannot appear before the Philippine courts.
Cannot appear because she's not a lawyer. Hindi siya member ng IBP. Kumbaga, baka consultant lang siya o a spokesperson. I'm excited to debate with her. Gusto niya pagtanggol niya kami we will not, hayaan mo na siya. Kahit na sinong kunin niya. Basta hindi sila pwede mag-practice dito. No, I don't think so. Mukhang nabola niya lang si nabola niya lang si Attorney Amal. Misinformed kasi si Attorney Amal. Siguro pag nakita kami, I can, to use the word of the President, educate her.
Clooney, appointed special envoy for media freedom by the British government, also defended two Reuters journalists jailed for more than 16 months in Myanmar and freed in May. The cases against Ressa started with the revocation of Rappler's certification of incorporation for allegedly violating the constitutional restriction on foreign ownership of mass media. Ressa, who is facing alleged security fraud, tax evasion, and cyber libel charges before Philippine courts, has described these cases as harassment for their critical reporting of the Duterte administration. Earlier, Panelo called on Ressa to stop using press freedom as an excuse to attack the Duterte administration for her arrest. He said Ressa and other critics of the administration are proof that freedom of the press is alive in the country. Malacanang on Tuesday expressed confidence that the proposed term-sharing agreement of Speaker in the House of Representatives would not cause delays in the passage of the 2020 national budget. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said he was also confident that the term-sharing arrangement will not affect the passage of crucial bills pushed by President Rodrigo Duterte.
Nag-agree na nga yung tatlo. Sila nga ang magkakalaban na nag-agree. They forged into unity. So how can there be disruption?
Panelo was referring to the three speakership aspirants who sought for the president's endorsement: Taguig Representative Alan Peter Cayetano, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco, and Leyte Representative Martin Romualdez. On Monday, Malacanang announced that Duterte has endorsed Cayetano and Velasco under term sharing for House speakership, with Cayetano to serve in the first 15 months and Velasco in the remaining 21 months of these 18th Congress. Romualdez will serve as House Majority Leader. On July 29, 2018, the House reached a majority vote to install former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo as House Speaker, replacing Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez. Under Arroyo's leadership, there was a delay in the passage of the 2019 budget due to the lower chamber making last-minute amendments to the final version of the bill approved by the bicameral conference committee. Malacanang on Tuesday said that top military officials may have warned President Rodrigo Duterte about a possible coup. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo made this remark a day after Duterte barred that the military was getting restive over problems, particularly corruption within government. Panelo said that Duterte believes that the military could stage a coup if widespread corruption is unsolved. He said the military was very much aware of corruption within the government and may now be reacting to it.
I think it's a fair warning to all na baka pag nagalit yan, biglang magkuyang mga yan. Ang premise noon, under the Constitution, the AFP is the protector of the people. So kung ang military, alam nila na maraming kalokohan, maraming korupsyon, gaya nga na sinasabi ni Presidente sa Manila Waters, yung mga kontrata, masyadong onerous, alam na ng military yun. So nagre-react sila na bakit ganyan.
Panelo added that Duterte's call to lawmakers to amend the Constitution is considered part of his solutions to curb corruption.
Di ba sabi niya, you better amend the Constitution habang nandito pa ako. Habang napapakiusapan ko pa yung armed forces na irespeto niyo. You must remember na their history has shown us that when the armed forces of the Philippines rise and supported by the people, nababago, nagkakaroon ng leadership change.
On Monday, July 8, Duterte urged the Congress to amend the Constitution to crush corruption. Solicitor General Jose Calida on Tuesday asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the petition filed against government agencies which seeks unspecified action on the disputed areas in the West Philippine Sea. The petition demonstrates a grave abuse of process which merits dismissal if not sanctioned from the court, according to Calida in his opening statement at the oral argument on the matter, citing that at least 3 of the supposed fisherfolk petitioners in the case have executed sworn statements denying that they authorized the filing of the suits against the government in their behalf. The 3 whom Calida identified by their last names as Abogado, Asiado, and Labendelo confirmed that they do not know of the filing of their suits in their behalf, which had been supported by the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Those statements show deception, according to Calida. He explains that as for the petitioner IBP, it did not even allege what capacity it is suing or what injury it sustained. Definitely, it's not to safeguard the administration of justice or to advocate for the rule of law because the IBP lawyers involved in the case foisted egregious deceit not only on the fisherfolk petitioners but also on the Honorable Court. In any case, the top government counsel, citing legal precedents, said since petitioners claim it was China that is causing environmental degradation, it now becomes a matter of foreign relations, which places it under the jurisdiction of the Executive Department. Calida stressed that the court cannot interfere with or question the wisdom of the conduct of foreign relations by the Executive Department and explained that any determination of policy or course of action in the implementation of foreign policy and relations fall within the realm of the executive branch and not with the courts.
Where is the threat now? Threat to their lives. Even the
visiting the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. Some of the species that you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Welcome back. The lower tariff collection from rice imports, which in turn may have cost the government billions in foregone revenue, may have been caused by the undervaluing of such by importers and traders, according to the Federation of Free Farmers Incorporated. Given the prevailing global prices of the staple, FFF National Manager Raul Q. Montemayor described as quite small the 5.1 billion peso tariff collections from 1.43 million metric tons of rice imports by the Bureau of Customs. According to FFF's computation, the landed cost of the rice imports per metric ton would only be about $227 if one were to base this on the import and tariff collection figures released by the BOC, according to Montemayor. This, he pointed out, indicates an undervaluation of shipments by importers, which they could deliberately do in connivance with their suppliers abroad to avoid paying higher duties. He said in a statement on Monday, data from international monitoring groups such as the Food and Agriculture Organization indicate that the real landed cost of these imports should have been around $391 per ton if these were 25% broken rice. He added, in effect, importers appeared to have undervalued their shipments by 42% and paid 4.24 billion pesos less than what was due from them. Montemayor said the discrepancy in tariff collection could rise to as much as 5.1 billion pesos, as a majority of imported rice constitutes 5% of the broken variety, which is estimated to have a higher landed cost of $422 per metric ton. He said, in fact, reports indicate that most of the private sector imports were for 5% broken rice, which commands a higher price in the market and gives a better profit margin for traders. This type of rice should have landed at $422 per ton at the lowest instead of just $227, he added. In this scenario, the tariff discrepancy would amount to around 5.1 billion pesos. Sought for comment, the BOC had not responded as of press time. The Securities and Exchange Commission has approved its rules and regulations on crowdfunding, a move that will allow startups and small and medium-sized enterprises greater access to funding. The SEC en banc on July 4 approved the rules and regulations governing crowdfunding, defined as a fundraising activity typically conducted through an online platform mainly used by startups. SEC Chairman Emilio B. Aquino said information and communication technology has made a significant impact on the financial environment. He added, with the rules and regulations governing crowdfunding in place, they hope to support recent financial innovations on providing easier access to finance, especially for smaller business startups or ventures, while ensuring the integrity and fairness of financial statements and the protection of investors. The fundraising approach involves three parties: the entrepreneur or project initiator, the supporters or those willing to fund the entrepreneur's business idea or project, and the platform or moderating organization that brings the entrepreneur and supporters together to realize the business idea or project. Supporters make their contributions or donations through online platforms. The platforms coordinate and administer the fundraising activities. Reward-based and donation-based crowdfunding are two famous forms of community crowdfunding, which are not subject to securities regulation, as they do not involve offers or securities of the prospect of financial return, according to the agency. On the other hand, the financial return model includes lending-based and equity-based crowdfunding. Aquino said securities-based crowdfunding can offer an alternative source of private financing for startups and SMEs. He said further market validation through successful crowdfunding campaigns may create more funding opportunities for businesses. The National Grid Corp of the Philippines is currently undertaking 5 transmission projects worth 17.9 billion pesos meant to address load growth in the western part of Luzon. These projects, which are all certified as energy projects with national significance, are very crucial to accommodate the new power plants coming in, including the 2 times 300 megawatt RP Energy coal-fired power plant, GN Power Dingining coal-fired power plant, and SMC Consolidated Power coal-fired power plant, among others. Of the 17.9 billion peso worth of projects, 10.28 billion pesos was earned for the Hermosa San Jose 500 kV transmission line project. This power facility will cater to existing power plants in Bataan, such as the Limay coal-fired power plant, Subic and Ron diesel power plant, and generation capacity additions like the RP Energy coal-fired power plant and San Miguel Corp coal-fired power plant. It is expected to be finished in the last quarter of 2020. Next in the list is the 5.94 billion peso Mariveles Hermosa 500 kilovolt transmission line project, which will serve as a new transmission corridor to accommodate around 2,836 megawatts from power plants such as the GN Power Dingining coal-fired power plant, SMC Consolidated Power coal-fired power plant, and the KEPCO HHIC coal-fired power plant project. The project entails the construction of a new Mariveles substation along with a transmission line. It will be finished in the last quarter of next year. The third project, which is worth 1.34 billion pesos, is the Luzon Western Luzon 500 kV backbone project. The first stage of the Western Luzon 500 kV backbone project involves the construction of the Castillejos Hermosa 500 kV transmission line and will be connected to the new Hermosa substation. This is expected to be completed by the second quarter of 2020. The second stage of the project will involve the construction of a new Castillejos substation, Bolo substation, and the Castillejos Bolo 500 kV transmission line. Stage 2 of the project is slated to be completed by 2025.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world, events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Hi, I'm Joseph Diokson.
Hello, I'm Kieran Martin.
Hi, I'm Ellie Malikdem.
I'm Johnny Bermapiles, Managing Partner of Go Motion